This is a video about seabirds, the ultimate master mariners. These incredible creatures are defined by a single, brutal rule: they depend entirely on the ocean for survival, spending the vast majority of their lives battling the wind and waves. A whimsical overview, based loosely on Queen's "We Are the Champions." We are the seabirds, my friend. We traverse oceans till the end. No time for talking. No time for walking. We're the dump pickers of the world. Let's start with the family that hits closest to home, the gulls and terns. They are visual foragers, relying on keen eyesight and aerial agility to snatch prey right from the surface of the sea. The family Laridae is divided into three highly specialized groups. First, the gulls, evolutionary geniuses that can opportunistically exploit almost any habitat on Earth, from remote ocean cliffs to inland landfills. Second, the terns, sleek aerial darts built to plunge dive into the surf with absolute precision. And third, the bizarre skimmers, which literally plow the water on the wing to catch their prey by blind reflex. The first group we encounter are the hooded gulls. These medium-sized birds are open ocean chameleons, growing a striking dark mask during the high-stakes breeding season, which completely fades away into subtle spots when winter arrives. Take the black-headed gull, a widespread traveler across Europe, Asia, and the northeast coast of America. In summer, it has a rich, chocolate-brown hood. But watch how it transforms in winter. The dramatic hood vanishes completely, leaving behind nothing but a comical dark ear spot. Its North American cousin, Bonaparte's gull, undergoes the exact same seasonal transformation. But this bird hides a brilliant evolutionary secret. While almost all other gulls nest strictly on the ground, Bonaparte's bucks the trend entirely by nesting high up in conifer trees. Moving to New Zealand, the black-billed gull is one of the most consistently elegant species in the group, maintaining its ink-black bill and piercing white iris year-round. Right nearby in Australia, the silver gull trades that black look for a fiery red bill and eye ring that intensifies dramatically when it's time to court a mate. On the opposite side of the Indian Ocean, South Africa's Hartlob's gull looks similar to the silver gull, but it never overlaps in range. Across the Americas, the laughing gull is famous for its cackling call. Though it looks like the other hooded gulls, DNA evidence proves it is only a distant relative. Just like its cousins, it strips off its dark breeding hood for winter, trading it for handsome head streaking. This model juvenile laughing gull looks like it is still mastering the art of landing. It takes 2 to 3 years of practice and multiple plumage trials before these young birds earn their adult colors. Isolated on the Galapagos Islands lives the lava gull, perhaps the rarest gull on the face of the Earth, perfectly camouflaged in shades of volcanic sooty gray. This particular lava gull has learned to adapt to the modern world, stealing a quick drink from our hotel's swimming pool. From the rarest to the absolute largest, the great black-backed gull is a monster of the coast. It is an apex predator with a massive yellow bill, pink legs, and a lethal reputation. These giants have an incredibly diverse diet, but it takes years of trial and error before a young bird becomes skilled enough to hunt effectively and raise a family. It is hard to believe that this heavily mottled, scaly brown juvenile will one day become that striking black and white apex predator. By its first year, its feathers fade to a rugged buff brown. It will face 4 grueling years of survival at sea before it fully acquires its adult plumage and is ready to breed. The lesser black-backed gull looks like a scaled-down version of its giant relative, but a birder can spot the difference easily. The shortcut code? Adults of the lesser black-backed have bright yellow legs, while the great black-backed stands on pink. However, juvenile lesser blackbacks still have pink legs, making them a notorious identification trap in the field. You have to look for their slimmer, more elegant build. Ruling the southern hemisphere is the kelp gull, easily identified by its unique yellow-green legs. If you look closely at its bill, you'll see a bright red spot. This is called the Ghani spot, and it is a biological button. Gull chicks are hardwired to peck at this red target, which automatically triggers the parent to regurgitate a fresh meal. Down in South Africa, we find the Cape gull, a localized subspecies of the kelp gull that has a slightly more compact build. Next up, we shift from the black-backed gulls into the herring gull complex. These are large gulls. Some individuals approach great black-backed gull in size. This adult European herring gull has a pale gray mantle, white head, and yellow bill with a red Ghani spot. This recently fledged chick is uniformly dark sooty brown. It looks absolutely nothing like its parents, embarking on its own legendary 4-year transformation. By year 1, the dark soot fades to a warm buff, and the head lightens up. By the 3rd year, the transformation is tantalizingly close. The pale gray back emerges, but telltale brown streaks still linger on the head. Depending on which side of the Atlantic you are standing on, you are looking at either the European or the American herring gull. They are so completely identical in the field that they remain a badge of honor challenge for even advanced birders to separate. This first-year juvenile looks like it's yelling the universal question, "What's for dinner, Mom?" Out on the brutal North Pacific coast, the glaucous-winged gull stands out from the crowd. While most large gulls have stark black wingtips, this species is uniquely washed in a soft, uniform gray. Even as a smoky brown juvenile, it already carries that family trademark, pale gray wingtips with absolutely no black ink. On the western coast of North America, the western gull shows off a much darker, slate-colored back and a striking pale yellow eye. This breeding adult shows just how heavily that dark mantle contrasts even against the bright sun. When it takes flight, look for the white mirrors at the tips of the wings. These white spots vary in size and shape from species to species, acting like a secret ID code for birders scanning the skies. This young western gull is just starting its 4-year clock, hiding its true identity under a sea of mottled brown. Sharing the coast is the slighter, more elegant California gull, with its yellow-green legs and a bill painted with a black band. If you've been to the Great Lakes or the East Coast, you know this one, the ring-billed gull. Equally at home on a pristine beach or patrolling a local dump, it is one of the most familiar faces on the continent. Its namesake black ring circles the bill completely and stays there year-round, making it one of the absolute easiest gulls for anyone to identify. Across Eurasia, the common gull earned its name not because it's the most numerous, but because it is historical shorthand for frequently encountered. It looks like a miniature, refined herring gull with slender, clean features. Breaking all the design rules of the West Coast is the breeding Heermann's gull. It is a stunning, artistic bird with a smoky gray body, a snow-white head, and a brilliant lipstick red bill. But the white head is just a temporary costume. In the non-breeding season, it reverts to a quiet, uniform gray. Along the South American Pacific, the Belcher's gull mimics the look of a black-backed gull, but it defends a coast where no true blackbacks live. Look for its uniquely banded red, black, and yellow bill. To close out the gulls, we meet the kittiwakes, the only truly pelagic gulls on Earth. They abandon land completely, spending their lives far out over the freezing open sea and returning only to nest on terrifyingly sheer cliff faces. Their stark black wingtips look as if they were dipped neatly into a jar of ink. Terns are entirely different beasts. Though related to gulls, they are sleeker, sharper, and built for pure speed. They rarely ever float on the water's surface. Instead, they hover high in the air, lock onto a fish, and drop like a dart. Most terns are coastal travelers, wearing clean black caps and deeply forked tails that slice through the coastal winds. The royal tern is an instant standout, carrying a massive orange bill and a wild, shaggy black crest. Courtship is a high-stakes negotiation. Here the male offers a fresh shrimp to the female to prove he has the hunting chops to support a family. Across the Indian and Pacific Oceans, the greater crested tern takes over as the royal's official geographical counterpart. Throwing their heads back in loud unison, it looks like they are shouting, "All hail the king!" The Cabot's tern of the Americas features a yellow-tipped black bill which make its identification by birders easy, that is, if they can forget it used to be called the sandwich tern. But when the breeding season ends, that famous yellow tip fades away, and its black cap recedes into a clean white forehead. The undisputed titan of the family is the Caspian tern, the largest tern in the world, with a massive, lethal red-orange bill that puts it in a genus entirely all its own. Shifting to the genus Sterna, we find the classic coastal specialists, streamlined, buoyant, and perfectly engineered for precision hover diving. This common tern has completely shed its breeding colors, yet a stark black band still wraps around the back of its head like a permanent headphone strap. The Forster's tern in full breeding plumage is a vision of silver and white, anchored by a vibrant orange bill and long tail streamers. In the winter, the Forster's pulls off a clever trick. It drops its cap and puts on a dark, distinct eye mask, making it easy to separate from the wintering common terns. This juvenile Forster's wears a scaly brown coat, but its bright orange legs give a clear hint of the adult it will become. Now meet the ultimate athlete of the animal kingdom, the Arctic tern. These birds pull off a mind-boggling 50,000-mile pole-to-pole round trip every single year, ensuring they see more daylight than any creature on Earth. This lone traveler is wearing its plain winter uniform during its epic oceanic commute. In New Zealand waters, the white-fronted tern breaks the family mold by keeping a clean white forehead even during the height of the breeding season. The title of the smallest tern on the continent goes to the least tern, a tiny, lightning-fast bird with a yellow bill and a stark white forehead patch. This scaly juvenile represents a fragile future. Because adults nest on wide-open sandy beaches, their colonies are incredibly vulnerable to human beachgoers and coastal predators. The black tern completely rejects the ocean, nesting instead in inland freshwater marshes. Rather than plunge diving, it swoops elegantly like a swallow to snatch insects right off the water's surface. Out in the true pelagic blue, we find the open ocean specialists that rarely ever see a mainland coast. These sooty terns and brown noddies gather to breed only on incredibly remote coral keys, like Michaelmas Cay in Australia. Here, a sooty tern parent passes off a fresh ocean meal to its hungry chick. And yes, that giant clam sharing the beach with them really is that massive, no photo editing required. The brown noddy gets its common name from the elaborate, polite nodding displays it performs to court its partner. Perhaps the most flamboyant bird in the entire order is South America's Inca tern. It sports a flawless slate-gray body, a bright yellow wattle, and a spectacular white handlebar mustache curling from its face. This juvenile Inca tern is still a work in progress, wearing uniform brown soot, with its famous mustache plume still short and underdeveloped. Standing completely alone in structure and behavior is the subfamily of the skimmers, creatures defined by a truly radical piece of evolutionary engineering. The black skimmer is one of only 3 species on Earth that hunts by slicing the water on the wing. It flies inches above the surface with its elongated lower mandible cutting through the water. The moment it strikes a fish, the upper bill snaps shut on pure tactile reflex, a flawless piece of high-speed engineering. Next, we meet the family Alcidae, the auks. These birds are the Northern Hemisphere's evolutionary answer to the penguin. They have stocky, compact bodies, webbed feet set far back for walking upright, and short, stiff wings optimized for powerful underwater propulsion. The undisputed star of the family is the Atlantic puffin. Famous for its charismatic, clown-like face, its massive, brilliantly colored beak is an engineering marvel used to carry dozens of small fish at a single time. Its Pacific cousin, the horned puffin, gets its name from a small, fleshy black horn that grows above the eye during breeding season. Like all puffins, it uses its wings to literally fly through the water, diving to immense depths to hunt. The largest of them all is the spectacular tufted puffin. In full breeding attire, it is a Gothic masterpiece, a pitch-black body, an oversized orange bill, and long, golden blonde tufts sweeping back dramatically from its eyes. Capturing these tufted puffin photos on a cruise out of Homer, Alaska, is a perfect reminder: to see the absolute best of the seabird world, you have to leave the shore behind and get out on the water. The razorbill is a sharp, compact black and white auk named for its deeply compressed, blade-like bill. They are rugged cliff dwellers when nesting, but spend the cold winter months completely at home at the open sea. Sharing those same sheer cliffs is the common murre. They possess incredibly dense bones, allowing them to counter buoyancy and dive a staggering 500 feet deep into the ocean. Look at this tightly packed colony in Scotland. Murres build no nests at all. Instead, pairs lay a single, highly conical egg directly on the bare, narrow rock shelf. The egg's unique pear shape keeps it from rolling off the cliff, causing it to spin in a tight circle instead if bumped. Moving into shallower waters, the pigeon guillemot of the Pacific and the black guillemot of the Atlantic look like identical twins, rocking jet-black feathers, brilliant white wing patches, and neon-red feet and mouth linings. The absolute smallest member of the auk family is the dovahkiy, a tiny powerhouse that breeds by the millions in the high Arctic. This particular bird was found stressed on a North Carolina beach, blown thousands of miles outside its normal range by a ferocious winter storm. Finally, we enter the realm of the tube noses. These birds possess unique, external tubular nostrils on their bills that house a miraculous biological secret, a built-in desalination gland. This organ filters excess salt directly out of their blood, allowing them to safely drink pure seawater and live out in the trackless ocean for years at a time. The legendary Laysan albatross commands a wingspan approaching 7 feet. It can lock its wing joints into place like a glider, soaring effortlessly over the Pacific swells for hours at a time without flapping its wings even once. These giants mate for life, celebrating their reunion each year with highly complex, rhythmic courtship dances of bill clacking, bowing, and sky pointing. Unlike most birds, they possess a highly advanced sense of smell, tracking down schools of squid across thousands of miles of featureless ocean. Young albatrosses will spend their first few years entirely at sea, never once touching solid ground until they are ready to find a lifelong partner. The petrels, shearwaters, and fulmars belong to the same family and are stiff-winged masters of dynamic soaring. The northern fulmar looks like a gull, but its tube-nose bill reveals its true identity as a pelagic wanderer. It also holds the title of the ultimate biological skunk. To protect its nest, a fulmar will projectile vomit a foul, sticky, amber stomach oil at intruders, ruining the waterproofing of any predatory bird that dares get too close. Cutting low across the waves, the great shearwater shows off its distinctive white rump patch and dark belly smudge. Shearwaters get their name from their breathtaking flight style. They tilt their long, narrow wings so close to the water that they appear to literally shear the surface of the waves. The great shearwater's crisp, dark brown cap and clean white cheeks make it one of the easiest shearwaters to identify from a rolling boat deck. Because those narrow wings are built for high-efficiency gliding rather than flapping, taking off from a calm ocean surface requires a comical, running sprint across the water to catch the air. The sooty shearwater is an absolute force of nature and one of the most abundant birds on the planet, charting a colossal, figure-8 migration across the globe every single year. We close our journey with one of the smallest seabirds in existence, Wilson's storm petrel. This tiny bird braves the open ocean by dangling its webbed feet and pattering them against the surface, making it look as though it is literally walking on water. It's a hypnotic habit that inspired their very name, petrel, a historic nod to St. Peter walking out across the waves.